Hi, I'm Sophia, and this is our first vlog on self-care and about putting your oxygen mask on first, looking after yourself. And I'm going to give you 2 strategies to help you on your way to a healthier, happy you. I'm a mind coach, a well-being coach, author, personal trainer, and I help people who are having difficulty in losing their weight or who have issues with their body image. Most of you who are listening have probably tried most of the conventional ways or methods to lose weight and found that they've largely been unsuccessful. I don't know precisely what you may have tried, but if you're on this site, you're obviously searching for something to get better results or something that is more long-standing. Perhaps you lose weight for a short time and then you regained it, or like many, you gained it a little bit and then a little bit more. Don't be distressed, you're really not alone. 95% of people who lose their weight put it back on again after dieting. And this is officially why diets don't work. This is also why weight loss companies are really doing well. They're continually coming up with another fad or a revamped diet program. And what I'm going to teach you and talk to you about over this series is what diet companies don't do and what personal trainers don't know how to do. And that is rewire our habits. Basically, we do something over and over again and it becomes unconscious so that we don't even realize that we're actually doing it. Maybe you were rewarded with food as a kid. Maybe you eat as a stress response. Whatever the reason, what I want to do is to give you tips to help you interrupt those habits so that you can develop new practices and you can feel even better. For further coaching, perhaps there's underlying issues, and you probably know what's there and what's working for you and what needs to be addressed. You can either purchase my online course or my book, or just drop me a line for further coaching. But in the meantime, what I want to do is to give you some real tools to help you interrupt your unhealthy practices. And this will only work if you really truly want to change. By searching this site, I know you're wanting more. I know you want to be more healthy. I know you want to be more vital, and you want to be happier. So I thought the first step in this series ought to be about self-care and how you can do everything for everyone and feel really depleted emotionally, physically, and possibly spiritually. It's like that aeroplane analogy I used at the start about the oxygen. If you don't look after yourself first, pop that mask on, then you won't be able to look after anyone else for any sustained period of time. We all know that weight gain affects us on every level. We eventually have less energy, we can develop chronic fatal diseases. You've probably experienced somewhere in your life how hard it is being heavier and how more difficult it is to do different things. It can affect your relationships, your self-esteem, or just your capacity to show up in a way that is consistent and vital. So for the 2 strategies today, the first thing I want you to do is to focus on your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? What language are you using? I can't, I should, I have to, it's not possible, or are you just feeling overwhelmed? Quite often we use negative talk to motivate ourselves. Things like, don't be so lazy, don't eat that, sitting there isn't going to get the job done, get off your butt. These negative conversations have the positive intent of trying to get us to do better, but I guarantee that this desired behaviour is less likely to follow, not consistently and not for any long period of time. So how can you change this? Look, I came from a family where it was I should, I have to do this, I have to do that, and honestly everything just felt like a lot of grunt work. Well, eating well was hard work. It was a chore, it was a task to plan meals. So what I wanted to do is work out how to do this better, how to be more successful at it. I could give advice to people that I trained about what to eat or what not to eat, but realistically they'd go home and they wouldn't do any of that. So I researched how successfully healthy people stay consistent, stay on track, and I found that the way they speak to themselves is really different. Their internal dialogue was polar opposite to how I'd been brought up. It's polar opposite to how a lot of my clients were speaking to themselves. So instead of things like, I mustn't eat this, what I want you to do is to focus on what does your body really feel like. Imagine that food. See how it sits with you. Instead of, should I go exercise? Start smaller with what will happen if I just move a little bit more? What if I just sweat a little bit today? I know I'll feel better. Changing your internal dialogue isn't easy. In fact, you probably need to pull yourself up quite a few times and rephrase it. I know I did. For example, I really needed to get an extra boost of energy. I feel like eating chocolate. And I talked to myself about how I deserved it, and it wouldn't be very much. I could probably stop at one piece. But if I change that conversation, which I practiced and I did, and I change it to, what does my body really feel like now? How will I have more energy? Perhaps I can put that chocolate off for another time. How will I feel in my clothing? Will I feel better? And then I was able to look at different things and make different sensations and found out what would give me a better burst of energy. And I could wait for that answer and something would pop into my mind. But like any habit, positive self-talk needs practice, especially if you've been negative on yourself, possibly for decades. But the beauty of it is that it doesn't require much time. It doesn't require much energy. In fact, no one even needs to know except yourself. So then I want to look at what a second strategy was for looking after yourself. What do healthy people do that you don't? Besides the self-talk, I went in search of something more concrete even. And what I discovered is I looked at people that acted and felt in a way that how I wanted to actually feel. And I discovered that by modeling them, I could learn new habits. I could simply copy them and come up with a habit. One lady I spoke to said she never hit snooze to get out of bed. I would hit it at least twice. Well, that was a concrete thing I could copy. Now I rarely even need an alarm. I learned that I could have my favourite foods, just that I didn't need them have them every day, as they usually made me feel pretty fatigued with the highs and the lows of the sugar and the insulin response. And I could make them more special and more treasured, and I'd really enjoy them a lot more. And I noted that a lot of energetic people have their treats, but only as sometimes food. Some people have a cheat day. Another lady I worked with just had a treat, but she'd have it in smaller quantities. Other people manage portions better. So what I want you to do is to find someone who you feel that is doing what you admire, how you would like to feel, how you would like to behave. Ask them what they're doing. See how they handle their things. What do they say to themselves? What practices do they actually have? Notice their energy levels, how they eat, how they plan perhaps their weekly food. And then I want you to copy them. This isn't cheating, it's learning. It's okay to learn from our teachers at school, just as this is just the school of life. Again, it's going to feel foreign at first. I'd often train people and they found that, doing a bicep curl or doing a squat was really quite hard. But with persistence and coaching, they just got better and better at it, and we were able to go for longer and lift heavier. And they would get fitter and have different results. So all through your life, you've learned how to do new and varied things. And you've learned how to adapt and to grow. So what I'd like you to do is to practice these steps. It's just another step in your learning. These are the first steps to putting on your oxygen mask. Next week I'll have different practices for you to do, but I just want you to practice these two things this week. Let me know how you go. Send me a post, put a message below. I wish you your best, healthiest, happiest life. You deserve it.